because I saw this interview with Dr. Umar on this podcast, and he was talking about a couple of things. And he mentioned foundational Black Americans, and he mentioned where we're doing, what we're not doing, all of this stuff. Now, when we talk about foundational Black Americans, to everybody who's new here, let me be abundantly clear. That means Black Americans, okay? Foundational is just being more specific about the ethnic group of Black Americans. Is not a group within Black Americans, is not an ideology of Black Americans, is not even a movement of Black Americans, okay? Doesn't matter what you think, what you believe, what your political stances are. If you are a part of the lineage, you are a part of the lineage. So that's just the name, a very specific and exclusive way to identify the lineage.
Absolutely not, FBA elite. Absolutely not. I'm an African American, not no FBA. I don't care about what your political views are. I don't care how you feel. I don't care what your Ball Street sheets say. FBA is a xenophobic hate group fan club of Tariq Nasheed, and you're just a fan of Tariq Nasheed. That's what that is. I'm an African American. We do not label ourselves with your dumb hate group. Sorry. No. You're a delusional idiot.
Might have to drop a dime on them.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta stop it.
I don't like that shit.
For sure, bro.
I don't like that shit.
All right, y'all, we back with another video, man. Y'all know how we do. Always pushing health, wealth, and a better understanding of self. So check this out, y'all. In this video, we going over how Afro Think Tank and Umar Johnson, they both getting out of hand. Okay, they gonna probably have to need to get checked. Okay, shout out to all my Maryland people in DC and, you know, the DMV. We may gotta pull up on Afro Think Tank. Okay, kind of getting beside himself, okay, with all of this hate talk. Now, y'all see how he disrespected Afro Elite when Afro Elite was just explaining his stance on FBA and Black Americans. And then you got Afro Think Tank throwing this misinformation about the lineage on the internet constantly, where it's really getting, it's really irritating and pissing people off, right? But we also got Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson is acting like we need some kind of alliance with Africa to deal with problems here in America. You can't make this up. Y'all check this out, and then we're going to get back Afro Think Tank. Let's get it.
While we get the hell we get, Loon, yes, we're Black, but we're also disorganized with the diaspora. We don't have any permanent diplomatic, public political relationship with any African nation states that can speak up on our behalf. Remember, Cuba had Russia. Fidel Castro was smart enough to know I cannot survive America without a diplomatic relationship with a world power. Where's Black America's diplomatic relationship with an African power? We don't have one. We foundational Black Americans. We American descendants of slaves. I don't even want to use the word African. I'm a foundational Black American. And look what you got. Foundational convictions, foundational murders. Any African in America who doesn't recognize the need for us to have a diplomatic, political, public relationship with some African countries is out of his damn mind. The only respect you get in America as a non-white person is based on the country you identified with.
All right, y'all. So there y'all see with Dr. Umar Johnson. He thinks that by us claiming Africa, it gives us some kind of superpower, which we've been claiming it since 1988. Okay? The higher ups gave it. They wanted us to claim that. That wasn't something that was done by Black people. Okay, Jesse Jackson just pushed it. Other than that, that wasn't from, it didn't come from us. Okay? It didn't come from us. It came from the, you know, the powers that be. But I want y'all to listen to Afro Think Tank. He did a one-on-one session with O'Shea Duke Jackson. And I've been saying on my channel a lot, I've been saying that. How is he pushing this hate group on FBA but he's been in Africa. He's gonna explain to you. He's gonna agree everything what O'Shea Duke Jackson is saying about how it is tribal and how they hate on each other over there with real violence. It makes no sense of why he's calling us a hate group, but he's not speaking on none of the division that's going on in Africa. Okay? Watch how he gets exposed right here in this video. And I want to know what y'all think, man. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and push me on the algorithm. I greatly appreciate that. Let's get it.
Saying this, I get what you're saying because you're not you spit facts. There are a lot of things you're saying that I gotta concede, and I knew that coming into it because my situation is not always perfect. But you gotta create the right Africans to participate in Pan-Africanism. And what you're saying is, well, that Afro Think Tank or O'Shea, you should be held to a higher standard. Okay, I'll accept that. But then, what about them? Just because we have more money, our South Africa has more resources, that doesn't mean that the brothers and sisters in Malawi can't put forth effort. They gotta also try. A lot of times, the people that have the most get the most to blame, like South Africa and Black America. But even when Africans get rich, they get successful. I mean, you. What about the issues then? So again, the divisions keep going. And the divisions that are there, we got to discuss it with somebody else's fault. Because what happens is, let's focus on the white man, focus on our power, sweep everything underneath the rug. And guess what? I could agree to never make a video again. And FBA could never make a video again. Those situations in Africa are going to continue. And wherever.
Exactly. This is just what I was saying. You talking about FBA, and if you take FBA out of that, you still got, he's going to tell a story. Afro Think Tank is going to tell a story about how in Africa, how he's noticing the division and the hate. But he's not going to label them a hate group. He's not going to speak out about it because he want to feel safe. And this is why I say he got all of this lip and all of this talk for FBA because he don't feel like, we ain't applying that pressure on him yet of that respect. So he think he could just disrespect other men, talking about you a fan club of another man. He thinks that, he could just throw out this disrespect to FBA and nothing's gonna happen. I've been in Africa and I'm on their side. So, somebody gonna have to really, chastise. He gonna have to really get some attention for this because you getting out of hand, you getting beside yourself. But watch this.
Where they go, there they're going to be. They're having problems in Australia in the diaspora. Big problems. But why is it that when Black Americans come, largely don't have a problem? Because why? We're more adaptable, usually. You go to Ghana and you see more African Americans wearing kente cloth than you see Ghanaians. You can see that.
Yeah, but with that being said, everything you said, I agree with. But at the same time, let me just say one last thing.
Okay, go ahead. And the thing is this, right? Like the African countries, most of I know you didn't like my Pan-African keyboard warrior things. I know you didn't like that, right? But let me talk about that. The reason why a lot of those people are upset with me is because they cannot deny what I'm saying is the fact. They can never come back to where they're from and have a good life. Why? Because do you know how many talented Africans come back to their homeland and get killed or get poisoned or get juju put on them?
Yeah, a lot. That's actually a big thing.
See, why don't people?
Why didn't we hear this from you then, Afro Think Tank? That's a big thing. Why you ain't telling Black Americans this? Why you ain't speaking about this hate? He knows about it. He's telling you he knows about when Africans get money and they come back and they want to take them out. But they don't say nothing about hate.
People bring that up in my content. I don't just talk about things from the Black American perspective. I see Africans come back from Sweden, and then this guy he got his legs cut off, got killed, his wife got killed right there in Entebbe. So when you want your talented Africans to come back, the Africans that have money don't even trust their own governments to come back. That's why they're marketing this to us, because largely we're not going to have those issues. They don't care if we come in and really be successful. So that's what I'm really building it on. I talk as an insider. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, like with all that being said, right? With what you said was correct, right? So we have to find a solution to that issue, right? So we African Americans, it's true, everything you said. Like when I go to Nigeria and I look at Nigeria and I see how Nigeria is and what they have, right? And I say, damn, if y'all really wanted to, y'all could take over. It don't seem like anybody really wants to because the Yoruba will not allow the Igbos to be in charge. And the whole reason why, but the Igbos happen to be the best business people in Nigeria. If you put an Igbo president in who already has an economic mind of making money, that person would probably do a pretty good job bringing the economy of Nigeria up to snuff. But because of the tribal issues, the Yoruba and the Hausa, the tribalism, refuses to allow an Igbo to become the president. Then you got the Muslims in the north that's more Muslim than they are African. And they're like, everybody got to be Muslim, and it's Christians against Muslims.
So he just brought up the tribal issues, the hate towards other tribes. Okay? Nothing like what this online back and forth for what we're doing on, checking people who disrespect and talking about they built America, nothing like that. Real hate, real violence that's done to one another. But this is the first time he's speaking on that. But he got the nerve to call FBA a hate group. Listen to this.
And it's only during political season because they actually get along in real life together. They all live together, right? And so I see the business opportunities and the political opportunities that Nigeria has, but the people themselves step in their way. And like the politicians step in their way. And the people themselves, right, they get in their own way by stopping their progress because they don't want to work with their brothers and sisters. That is a fact. The tribalism manifests itself in the fact that people don't work together to create institutions and chains and accountability measures in order to succeed, right? And I think that is where, because you're right, African American, when I go to Nigeria, I'm good with the Igbos, Yorubas, the Hausas, the Fulanis, they're cool with me. But they be like, them damn Igbos over there, or them goddamn Europe, they'll warn me about the other tribes. But I'll just kind of look like, are you serious? And then I'll have to do my own investigation because maybe they're being.
Is that a xenophobic hate group? Okay, is that what he's talking about with what FBA do? Do you have any of that when you in America, when you in Maryland? Shout out to my Maryland folks, but they say he be in Maryland. Okay. Do you hear any hate that we be saying like that to any Jamaican, Haitian, African? You don't hear none of that. We don't never indulge in anything like that. And he knows this, but he's gonna go out and call us the hate group.
Extra, maybe they meant, they got a little bit of historical bias in there. There is a lot of historical bias in there, but
real quick, there's one thing. Do you know how many Nigerians? You know how many Nigerians told me not to come to Nigeria? A lot.
Oh, a lot of them. Yeah, Nigerians told me not to go too. They like, you going to Nigeria? I'm like, damn right. But I'm a different because I've been places in Nigeria. Nigeria is okay compared to some places I've been.
I love Nigeria. It was great.
Yeah. And the most trash talking I've ever heard from about Nigeria has been from Nigerians, and the reason is what you stated is most of the well-to-do, because all the well-rich ones are here where I'm at, right? Because I went to school with them, like they had cars in high school. They was driving Mercedes-Benz in high school, right? Oh yeah. They will tell you that the government is attacking them, or it's usually a government issue, because especially since they got money and you want to hold it in their banks, and it becomes the issue with the government, right? And they have they'll complain. But then you go to Nigeria, the Nigerian people in Nigeria are way different than the diaspora that come over here. And they will tell you that they're complete and total assholes. I know Nigerians who live here who got businesses in Africa who treat their people like shit, like slaves, like actual slaves. And it blows my mind. They barely pay them. They feeding them is enough. They're like, yeah, I gave you food.
Look,
you got to
pay you late.
Right? So there is an issue. There is an issue that some continental Africans don't want to talk about, is the fact that there's a classism and an ageism problem, that caste system that suppresses young Africans and disregards any of their opinions about anything when it comes to government and benefit. It's ran by a bunch of old, rich, ignorant, non-educated Africans who don't want none of their kids, their grandkids, or their great-grandkids to thrive. And they're blocking the progress of all of them. I think they said that it's closed. They closed it down. Yeah. But they don't want none of them to thrive, and that's a problem. And I see it, right? And like, for instance, like me as an African-American, right? Me as an African-American, when I go to Nigeria and I see the business opportunity just in the farmland, right? All
all these Nigerians in the rural area, all of them are sitting on millions of dollar assets, and they don't know what to do with it. They got millions, like a poor person in Nigeria in a village is richer than a middle class person in Africa. They just don't know how to benefit from their assets, right? And I'm sitting here, I be having conversations like, you know what you got here, right? They got land with fruit trees and all the minerals and stuff right there. A poor person who who can't generate $100 has 100 acres of land that they own outright, paying zero taxes on, that they can do anything with. And that's a common thing. But because there's no system to take advantage of the resources in order to guide these people into benefiting themselves, agriculture is not the number one thing in Nigeria when it should be, right? And so I think as African Americans who are good at systems, especially since we run the federal government, like we are the reason why American federal government was working so good until Donald Trump messed it up, right? I believe that if we believe African Americans that we are the leaders that we say we are, right? Instead, those of us who know better should use our talent to go over there and create systems. Like we should have asset management companies. We should be going to Africa and having customer service academies, like because the customer service is non-existent, right, over there for the most part, right? Because everybody your cousin. When you sit down, everybody who's feeding you is your auntie, your cousin, and
You over there, you are a king in one of the, they label him a king in one of the, you ain't doing nothing either. You're not doing nothing. It seems like you trying to get us over there instead of you handling the business. Y'all over there. O'Shea Duke Jackson is telling you that people are getting unalive for having money and coming back there. You can't make this stuff up. But he's steady beating around the bush and not being real on the tribalism that goes on the land. We got to hear this from him after O'Shea Duke Jackson exposes Pan-Africanism. Check it out.
You're going to wait till when the food done or when they get around to you. And that is something that permeates throughout the Caribbean and regular Black America. You go down to the South, you're going to wait. You go to that restaurant, you're going to wait because, you family and them, you sit at the chair, you wait, and your food going to get there when it get there. And we kind of do that as a group, but that doesn't translate into business. And I know that's what you're talking about. They don't have there's mechanisms of accountability and management that Africans are missing. And because of that, the informal business economy is thriving to the point where it's taking advantage of people who cannot leverage any money that they earn to get ahead in life, right? But I believe we can assist them and those African diasporas who are also intelligent and want to go do that. We can assist them, but we got to create systems within these African countries, and we have to installate ourselves. So we can't be, because a lot of us are naive. We go there, we want to kumbaya, we want to be up in there and all that stuff, and then we find out that the people we working with in Africa don't got the same mindset as us, and we can't get shit done, and we waste money, right? And then there's horror stories. I just put a video up where the diaspora, they send money back trying to do this, and their family members steal the money, their family members, and then what the family members do, this is the trick. Mm-hmm. So if, let's say, a Nigerian goes to the UK or America, he's an engineer, he's making a ton of money. He may not go back to Africa for 10 years, but he's been sending thousands of dollars every month, and he's been hoping that his family was doing what he said he'd do with the money. And then they show up in 10 years, go on vacation for only 2 weeks because your America give you 2 weeks, right? That's all you get. The family member knows that when that family member flies to their country, that they can only stay because they got to go back to work. So whoever stole the money disappears. They will leave the village. They'll leave the country, because that means if you're first, second generation Nigerian, and you go and your cousin or your sister or your brother been spending thousands of your dollars showing off, having a good time, buying his drinks, just doing whatever, and he found out you coming, he gonna go to another state. The entire time you're there, you'll never find him. You'll never be able to hold him accountable. And then when your ass got to go back to work, then he'll go back home because there's nothing you can do. But you're going to yell him over the phone, right? And that is a problem. And I just made a video about that. And so you got the African diaspora, second generation and first generation themselves, have a total campaign trying to tell their diaspora not to send remittance back to Africa and force their family members to have to be more financially responsible. But who is going to teach?
So that was just a piece I wanted to show y'all that Afro Think Tank is saying everything that O'Shea Duke Jackson is saying is he's 100% correct. So it's like you're contradicting yourself. You're not making sense to where you're still calling us a hate group and it's tribal and way more violent over there. So it's like Afro Think Tank is like, he's definitely scamming off of, for him not to be able to be honest and be able to say what he's saying it now that O'Shea is saying it. That just shows us that he's not genuine. He's not authentic. It's something he's hiding for a reason. And now he has to say it because O'Shea is saying the truth. I want to know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I was supposed to go live this weekend, man. I didn't. I've been getting over feeling under the weather a little bit, but we're gonna get back to it, man. I love and appreciate y'all. I catch y'all in the next video. Peace and love.
A community must have three things to have a community in it. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can provide goods, service, products, and things for your own people, and jobs and tax bases for your own people. You should at least control four basic things. You should be trying to control water, food, medicine, and energy to be able to survive and compete.
Here we got Mr. Pollock. He had a cornfield. He took advantage of a free water test from us, and this is what we found in this water. We found sulfur, we found hardness, and we solved these problems with an easy fix of 2 tanks. So get your free water test today. Stay blessed. Click the link below.